Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Allah tells us to be kind to our parents. In Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, verse 23, He says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. He says that your Lord has commanded or decreed that you should worship no one besides Him and that you be kind to your parents. Now, mentioning these two things together, we know in Islam, the most important tenet, belief in Islam, is that there's only one God. You should only worship God, do not worship anyone besides Allah. But then right next to it is, and you got to be excellent to your parents. You got to be nice, you got to be kind to your parents. Bringing both of them together shows you how significant this idea of being respectful and kind and nice to your parents actually is. And then Allah continues, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. He says that if either of them or both of them reach old age with you, meaning if they get old when you're still alive, do not say any word like uff, which is like a word which shows impatience with them, and don't be harsh with them, right? It says, وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. But say a nice and gentle word. Speak respectfully to them, right? So Allah is basically saying a few things. Number one is that if you want to truly worship Allah, you also need to be good to your parents, because then you're not fulfilling your obligations correctly. So this idea of being kind to your parents, it's built in to the nature of most people. But in some societies, and it's not only some societies, in fact, in all societies, there's a level of selfishness that comes in, creeps into an individual, and they start to think, you know what? No, I don't need to be nice to my parents. What did they do for me? And you just dismiss them completely. Now, what you have to remember is that what Allah is telling you, when they get older, He's specifically saying, if they get really, really old, that's when you need to be extra careful. Why? Because when people get very old, they don't have the same level of behavior that they have when they're kind of in their prime. So they kind of start to lose it. Maybe they get irritable, they can become senile, they tend to lose their patience. Their body's not functioning in the same way that it used to function before. Their mind is not functioning the same way that it used to function before. So we need to be extra careful. The same way that when you deal with children, people say, it's just a child, we need to be careful with the child, right? Why? Because they don't have the same capacity as adults. Well, elderly people have a different level of capacity because their capacity starts fading away. So we need to be extra kind with them the same way we need to be extra kind and understanding with children, right? So this concept is there. Now, what shouldn't happen though is sometimes people will use these verses to justify some type of ill treatment by their parents. Someone's parents are harming them, and they're saying, you know what, you have to do exactly what I say, and when I say stand on one foot, you're going to do it, and you're going to obey me and all of that. It doesn't mention obedience in here. This is, some people, they misunderstand this verse. It's not saying you have to do everything, including throw yourself in harm's way and destroy your entire life, because this is what the verse is saying. It's saying be kind to your parents. If your parents are asking you to do something that's against Islam, Allah takes precedence. But how do you decline? How do you say, no, I can't do this? You do it in a kind manner. You do it in a gentle manner. This is something that the companions, the Sahaba of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the ones who lived around him, they had to deal with their non-Muslim parents as well. They were commanding them, we want you to worship idols. They had to say no to something so heinous, so serious. But how were they supposed to do it? They still have to be kind. They still have to be nice. So don't assume that all of a sudden, you're an exception to the rule. Oh, my parents, you don't understand, they're really bad. I need to be harsh with them. No. You don't. If they're telling you to do something that's against Islam, you don't listen to them. If they're telling you to do something that's going to harm you, actually harming you, and there's really no benefit, they're just being stubborn about it, you don't have to listen to them. But when you say no you do it in a kind manner, you do it in a gentle manner, you do it in an understanding manner, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to do. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to be respectful and to be kind to our parents always. Ameen.